Hi students! This video is going to introduce you to the argument essay for the Language and Composition AP exam. The argument essay is the third of 3 essays that you'll have to write for the exam. The first essay is the synthesis essay, the second one is the analysis essay, and the third one is this one, the argument essay. So let's take a look at what this essay asks you to do, and also how it's different from the other two. So if you could, go ahead and pause this video and read your way through this prompt. Go for it. Okay, so hopefully you have read the prompt. Let's talk about this prompt. So what we have here is essentially what you need to do is use appropriate specific evidence to illustrate and develop your position on the statement that the most essential skill is artifice. That's the information that you absolutely need. Now, when students first encountered this prompt, a lot of students struggled with understanding what artifice meant. And that's why we have this paragraph down here. The purpose of this paragraph is to help define the word so that no matter what your previous understanding of the word is, you understand what its definition is for the purpose of this argumentative essay. And so there's stuff in here, for instance, it mentions political leaders, propaganda, the idea of telling a story or a personal narrative, and how entertainment is more important than the truth, and therefore deception equals success. It goes through and essentially explains what Hedges means when he says artifice. And therefore, when you're arguing whether you agree, disagree, or fall somewhere in between with Hedges' statement, you can use this to help you better understand what it is you're actually agreeing or disagreeing with. So keep that in mind. The purpose of a paragraph like this is to help you better understand the word that you're arguing on. With that being said, please don't confuse the argument essay with the analysis essay. You really shouldn't directly reference this paragraph at all. You're not analyzing what Hedges said. So really, you shouldn't write about Hedges at all in your essay. You might mention him in your introduction, and that is it. So talking about your introduction, let's actually look at what your essay might have. So if you read this prompt and said, I agree with Hedges, the most essential skill is artifice. This is what your outline might include. So when you do an argumentative essay, you want to make sure that you at least have a brief outline before you start writing so that you know where you're going in your essay. And so these are some of the examples of outlines that students have created for these prompts. So for the introduction, the student's going to argue the current election proves Hedges' argument that the most essential skill is artifice. So that is what the student's going to do. They're going to agree with Hedges. And so what the students said they were going to do is that their first paragraph was going to be about Joe Biden and about he is portrayed as the average Joe. However, he is actually very wealthy. So the very first paragraph in their essay is going to use Joe Biden as an example of how artifice has led to his success, and they will prove that through using evidence. Then in the second body paragraph, the student's going to go to Donald Trump, so the other side of the aisle, and they're going to argue that Donald Trump portrays himself as a successful businessman. However, he's had significant business failures and seems more like a TV personality. So again, they'll then use Donald Trump to exemplify how artifice is the most essential skill, because both of these men have found success. There are current presidential candidates, or one is the president and the other is a presidential candidate who's going to go up against him in the next election. And so here they're using these two individuals to prove the point that their artifice has led to their success. Then in their third body paragraph, the student chose to use Bernie Sanders, and they argued that Bernie Sanders was a genuine candidate but lost in the primary because he wouldn't compromise the truth for an easier to digest story. And so they used a third candidate who was not as successful in order to prove that he was not successful because he didn't use artifice, which proves the overall argument that the most essential skill is artifice. And so what we see here is that the way the student sets up their essay is by focusing on 3 different individuals and using them to prove their agreement with Chris Hedges' statement that the most essential skill is artifice. Now, some students freak out a little and they say, what if I don't know anything about politics? You definitely don't need to know anything about politics. There are other types of evidence that you can bring in order to complete this kind of essay. So let's look at another example and see how this student doesn't talk about politics at all in order to write a successful argumentative essay. So if you could go ahead and pause your video and read this prompt. Go for it. Pause it. Read it. Do it. All right, so now that you've read the prompt, you'll notice that in this first paragraph, similar to the previous prompt, this first paragraph works to help define what specifically the prompt means by the word unknown. So the last prompt focused on the word artifice. This prompt is focusing on the word unknown, and this first paragraph helps better define what specifically the prompt means by unknown, because it could mean a lot of different things. And then it asks for you to take position on this idea that choosing the unknown is valuable. So what did my sample student do? So after reading this prompt, my sample student said they agree that there is value in choosing the unknown. So now let's look at the outline that they created. So the student in their intro is going to explain that the benefits of the unknown holds true from the reaches of space to our daily lives. So that's what they're going to argue. And so in their first paragraph, we see what they mean by the reaches of space. They actually write about Star Trek. This is a true story. I had a student write about this, and it was very good. And so in their first body paragraph, they use Star Trek as their primary evidence, and they explain that Star Trek represents humans' nature to explore. And they talked about how the earliest ancestors spread across the continents, how sailors discovered new worlds, and they referenced from the opening of Star Trek the phrase boldly go where no person has gone before. They reference that, and they talk about how all of these things led to societal progress, and Star Trek represents this. Then in their second body paragraph, they talked about medical research and how researchers spend decades of their lives researching diseases like cancer to slowly make progress, and that these researchers may spend their entire career to come to no success, but that they do it anyway because the reward to humanity makes it worth it. So far we see that they use the example of exploration of the unknown, so explorers. They use scientific researchers and their kind of exploration of the unknown. And then in the third paragraph, they talk about our daily lives, how this holds true for personal discovery. We travel to new places, start new jobs, trust new people, and this is how we grow as a person. There's some typos in here, but that's okay. And so they use 3 different examples: exploration of space and also Earth, exploration of the medical field, and exploration of our personal lives. Nothing to do with politics. So if you don't know a lot about politics, that's all right. You can still access information in order to create an argument. All right, so we looked at 2 outlines that agree with the statement in the prompt. Let's look at one that disagrees. So if you could go ahead and pause the video and read this prompt, go for it. All right, so now that you've read the prompt, you might notice that this prompt is very different from the other prompts. This one's a lot more practical almost. It's not talking about the unknown or some other kind of ambiguous word. This is talking about almost like a current event problem, the idea that schools are making kids less creative. And it asks for you to write to your school board like a letter. First and foremost, if the prompt asks you to write a letter, do not write a letter. Write an essay. Always write an essay. Do not write a letter. They're tricking you. Ignore it. So you would write an essay just like with any others. But for this one, you are going to write an essay about whether or not schools should have a class specifically about creativity. So that's what you are arguing. And so this student disagreed. And this is the outline they created. So in their introduction, they're going to explain, since creativity is so important, a single class focus on creativity is not enough. Instead, all classes should be required to increase creativity in students. So they're saying one class, all classes. And so they take a really interesting, unique perspective on this prompt when they disagree. So with their first body paragraph, since they're disagreeing, they start with an argument. And so they address how creativity is important to be successful professionally, but also for the betterment of humanity. And they use the arts and sciences as an example. And so in their counter argument, they say, yeah, this prompt is totally right. Creativity is really important. However, then in their second body paragraph, they explain, despite creativity being this important, a class for just creativity will not be effective. It will teach students that creativity is something separate as opposed to an important skill in all things you do. And also the student talks about how other classes could harm creativity and undo what the creativity class teaches. And so here, this is where they explain why they disagree with the prompt. And then they offer what they think should happen instead. They say instead creativity should be a requirement in all classes, ranging from art to math to gym to history and so forth. And they discuss what this might look like, especially in ways that would benefit kindergartners and sixth graders, which is directly taken from here. And so you'll notice that this is set up really differently, where it's not just like an example about space, an example about science, an example about personal lives. Here, this is a much more complex development where they have the counter argument, where they talk about why it doesn't work, and then they talk about what would work. And so there's a lot of different ways to approach this argument, and a lot of different ways you can do your outline. So let's take a look at one more. Go ahead and pause and read this prompt. Okay. So this one is more similar to the first two that we read, where it's focusing on a specific word, disobedience. And so this is asking for you to argue whether or not disobedience is a valuable human trait that promotes social progress. So do you agree or disagree? This student does neither. This student decides to qualify, which means they agree and disagree. So let's take a look at their outline. So in their introduction, they say, while disobedience has led to progress at certain times in history, agree. Compromise is also an equally important action when it comes to making progress, disagree. So they're taking the middle ground. And then we see how they do this. So the student decides to open up using the transcendental philosophy to introduce the idea of civil disobedience. They're going to draw evidence from Emerson and Thoreau's ideas about how we must march to the beat of our drums and fight for what we believe in because that's what's right and moral. And they discuss how this can lead to progress for both individuals and societies. And then they bring this into the second body paragraph where they focus on how disobedience was very important in the civil rights movement. So here they're referencing philosophy and literature. Here they reference history. It was important for the civil rights movement, both through civil disobedience with MLK and militant disobedience with Malcolm X. And they discuss how this brought around significant political and social change, which is going back to the prompt. It needs to specifically be about social progress. You want to make sure that you don't leave that out because you'll be off topic. And then in their third body paragraph, they have the however, the qualifying. Here's where they disagree after agreeing for 2 paragraphs. They say, they also explain how progress can also be accomplished through compromise. Everything can't be through disobedience or we would descend into chaos. There are also laws and checks and balances that seek to protect us from changes that could end up being dangerous. And the student wants to discuss how things like Congress operates better when people are willing to work together and compromise. So some of the takeaways that you should have are that you can agree, disagree, or qualify with the prompt, that you want to make sure that you really understand what the prompt is asking. Make sure that you read the entire prompt and understand the word they're focusing on and how they want you to approach it. And then the other thing you should take away is the fact that each paragraph can focus on a different example, space, science, personal lives, or it could also be the kind of argument that develops with a counter argument, problem, solution. And so there's many ways to approach your argumentative essay. I hope these outlines helped you better understand what the argumentative essay is looking for. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or come to office hours. All right, good luck. I'll see you later. Bye.